Hey guys.
Me? Okay. All right. Hey guys, welcome back to.
Hey
We're doing episode 4 of Expedition Layering Systems, and we're just going to talk about mountain boots today and our various experiences with them. Just for like total clarity, none of us are sponsored by any of these brands, and we'll probably talk a little bit of shit about everyone in some way. So, trying to give you a realistic idea of what to expect with these boots that we have experience with, because they all cost at least $1,000 and it's really expensive, and so you should know what you're getting into before buying some. So,
and today with us is also our third member, Sean McLean, who has a lot more experience in a particular La Sportiva boot. With 3 people, we can provide so much more information than one person can, because everyone's feet are different. The fit of these boots is slightly different, and we have a lot more experience when all of our experiences put together.
yeah. So I guess to start us off, we'll start off with some of the La Sportiva boots. We'll talk about the G Summits, which we have here and we're using on this trip. And then Sean will talk a little bit about the G-Techs, which he's also used a lot of, that neither Vitaly or I has used. Then we'll go into some of the Scarpa and then some of the Mammut boots. So I guess to start off with the G-Techs, they are sort of a lightweight semi-double boot, like a 1.5 boot is how they're described. You can use them without the liner as like a light single boot, or use the liner as like a 1.5/ double boot. With the liner, they are lighter than like a full double boot, which is pretty nice. I will say it's my first time using them on this trip, and it is noticeable how light they are on your feet, and so I do like that. The sizing can be a little bit tricky to nail, because if you want to use them in their warmest capacity, you need to size them with the liner in mind, which means that if you take the liner out, you need to have some way to fill up the volume and make the fit good again, which for me means putting in my like custom insole for my ski boot. Works perfectly, takes up the right amount of volume. They're really comfortable without the liner. And then if I need to make them warmer, higher on the mountain, I'll wear the liner, take the insole out, and that system works pretty well for me.
What sort of a running shoe do you wear, and what sort of the size is your fit? Like, do they run half a size smaller, larger? What is your experience?
Yeah, that's a good question, and this will be good to get Sean's input on this too. La Sportiva sent us these boots for this trip, which was awesome, so thank you for that. It also means we didn't really have time to try them on, and so I did a lot of calling the La Sportiva store, trying on any size I could, and I ended up going with a size 43 in these, and I'm about usually a size 9 men's shoe, between 8.5 and 9. I have fairly small feet, so this is like a 43 is like a 10, which is pretty big. But that means that when I have them in the warmest mode, there's plenty of toe room available to keep your toes warm, because if you start cutting off the circulation, your boots are not warm. And when I tried on some slightly smaller sizes, I was feeling a little bit of pressure with the inner liner on, and so I decided to go slightly bigger, take up some volume with an insole, and so far I think they're about the right size for me. Sean, what size do you wear in these, and what's your experience with them?
So, I have these in 43.5. I basically wear 43.5 in everything from Sportiva. So that if you fit a 43.5 in the G-Techs, I think the fit's pretty much the same. I think they got that down. I've never tried wearing them without the liner. Because yeah, you are supposed to be able to wear the G Summits with just the provided insole. You don't have to have a custom one, and without the liner, and get a boot more comparable to the old G5. For me, I tend to run relatively warm. So the G-Tech is enough for me in most situations. And when I actually need a warmer boot, I'd rather just use this with the insole, because it fits and performs better than a full double boot, 6,000 meter boot that I've used previously, and so the performance is better for an adequate amount of warmth for me.
Yeah, and just talking with Sean when we were comparing sizes the other day, I could probably have gone down to a 42 and a half, and that probably would have been about right. These might be a half size big, but they're still good enough for now. And so just a little caveat there. And then to talk a little bit about just the basic features, they have a boa on the outside, which you press in and tightened to close up the boot. There's no laces. And then there's sort of this like ski boot style power strap. It's the first boot I've had with boa, and so far I really like it. I have heard some horror stories of them breaking in the field on people. I don't know about this particular boot that's broken on people. Do you know of anyone?
I don't have, yeah, I don't know of stories. I haven't had anybody tell me about this specific boot. I can talk about my experiences with other boa boots. So I had original G5, not the Evo. So the boa control was inside of the gator. And that still managed to break on me. Those boots were 2 or 3 seasons old. I'm on my 3rd pair of G-Techs since they came out. My first ones, I basically, well, I use the boots probably 100 days a year. Like I'm a heavy user, so that should factor into my rate, how quickly I go through them. But I got about a season and a half. I've broken the boa on 2 pairs.
These are of the G-Techs.
Of the G-Techs.
Not the G-Summits.
Yeah, actually I'm on my 4th pair of G-Techs.
Not a good look for the G-Techs so far.
But they've been out for about that long. So, one season, a season and a half. But I've had 2 boa failures. I think the one I remember the best, actually I have 2. So the one was coming out of the Torres after the Traverse. I hit the external boa on a rock and it popped off, and I didn't have a repair kit, and I wasn't able to get it to go back in.
So that situation, that could happen on any external boa.
It can happen on any external boa.
Okay.
And honestly, on an internal boa, if you hit a rock the right way, it's really this fabric is not a significant protection against that.
Okay.
However, if you just pop it off, I was able to fix it when I got back to the States.
And you had the repair kit with you?
I did not have the repair kit.
Okay.
So probably a good thing to have in the mountains. However, there are ways to generally, if it comes off or if you're having an issue, you can manually move the mechanism and get a boot tight. You may have trouble manually popping it and getting the boot off.
Okay. Good to know.
But I was able to basically put it back on even without it being attached and turn the boot tight for the hike out.
Okay.
And then I had finally on a pair of boots that I had used for a long time and were kind of nearing dying anyway. It got to the point where I couldn't unpop the boa.
Okay.
So that was, a struggle to get out of the boot. And I did not know how to fix that. And those guys were at end of life. So I was happy with, and I'm happy with the value I get out of G-Techs because they perform so well. They're just so light and they fit so nicely. And I am okay with the trade-off on boa. Some risk, you can have the repair kit. But I think they, before you get to the point where you've beaten the boot up a good bit, they're pretty reliable in my experience.
All right, so that's a pretty good overview on some of the La Sportiva pros and cons. The last couple things I'll add is These are pretty new. This zipper here on mine works pretty well. On Sean's that have had some use, it'll bind here a little bit,
Yeah.
right? But in general, the zipper's never failed.
Yes.
And then the last thing I'll add is I did meet an ice climber in Canada this past year who, while on the trip, had this red plastic on the toe cap break and compromise the waterproofness in the toe of his boots, where he had to warranty them. And I've heard of that happening with the like red plastic in the La Sportiva boots. So
yeah, I have personally had that experience with my pairs of G-Techs.
Okay,
At least
yeah.
Multiple or one?
At least two that I remember.
The front piece
This
where the
Correct.
crampon.
it'll crack.
Actually cracks.
Wow.
It doesn't. It hadn't. I mean, I haven't had a crampon come off of
Mhm,
it.
mhm.
I haven't had it actually affect the waterproofness, which
Okay.
is interesting.
Maybe it didn't, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, it might have on his boot,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's disconcerting. But I don't know that whether it is an actual like safety factor.
Okay.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
to wrap it up for the La Sportiva boots, these G-Techs and the G Summits, very light, they fit very well. Sean is very happy with the performance of them. The BOA is really nice for popping off and getting blood flow back into your feet at belays and getting your feet warm.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing to point out that we haven't said specifically about the BOA as a difference with other boots is that being able to pop it open at a belay significantly increases the warmth of a boot.
So that is a good pro. And then there are some potential durability concerns in the long run with either the BOA system or this like red plastic on the toe cap. So something to consider there, but we'll see how they perform over time.
Have you guys used the G2s by chance?
I have
I
not.
haven't used G2s,
No,
just G5 and G5 Evo.
Just want to add, I have used the G2s and they felt really warm and mostly comfortable. And I do wear a 46 in La Sportiva boots, and my size is 12. And even though I was happy with those boots, I have a personal anatomical imperfection on my ankle, which basically doesn't allow me to wear that model in particular because it puts too much pressure on my ankle. And I learned that on an expedition, and you will not learn those things unless you take them on a trip or do a significant amount of climbing in them on moderately steep snow slopes, because I never had a problem climbing vertical ice with them. It's just on the slopes where you're bending your ankle,
Yeah.
it will decrease the comfort.
The last thing I'll say is these boots you can take to a boot fitter and punch out, which is nice if you have some weird feet things. I know some ice climbers who have done that for, the like outside ball of their pinky toe. So that is a good pro for these. And like I said, despite the pros and cons of these boots, these are what Sean and I are wearing on the trip here because they are super light. I really like being able to wear them as a single or a double boot. And for like warm 6,000 meter, maybe 6,000 meter plus climbing, having a really light but warm enough boot, if the climate is warm enough, is awesome. Like saving a lot of weight on your feet really helps. So that's La Sportiva for you.
Yeah, and when you fit your boots, make sure that they're not too tight, because if you fit your climbing boots too tight, you will decrease the circulation and your toes will be colder. You may increase your chances or probability of getting frostbite. So be very careful about choosing the right fitting boot.
I should note that Sportiva has been good with warranties on my issues. I, one of the boots I had basically beaten to hell already, and so they were like, "Yeah, I don't think so," but the newer BOA failure they definitely took care of. So, BOA stuff is warrantyable.
Yeah.
Generally, they'll try to take care of you if you're not being a dick about things.
All right, so we'll move over to Scarpa. Here I have the Phantom 6000s. I also have the Phantom Techs. They're just not with me. The Phantom 6000s are what I used on our last trip to the Indian Himalaya. We were climbing a north-facing thing. It was very cold. It was like M7, and I was really happy with these boots. They're a little heavier than these, but they are very warm. They climb very well. I've had no durability issues. So as far as like the meat and bones of the boot, I'm really happy with it.
And instead of boa, they actually have laces.
Yeah, and so these, like Vitaly said, have lace-up boots, and they have this sort of lace lock system, which kind of locks it down right there for you. So like this is a different tightness than this, which is kind of nice. I do find that I have to adjust it like once or twice. Usually keep it looser on the approach, and then once the technical climbing starts, I need to tighten it back up. Which I will say is incredibly annoying to do when it's cold with gloves on. It's like really annoying actually to tie laces. But once they're tied, I don't have to mess with them the rest of the day. And it's a little bit more bomb-proof. I don't have to worry about anything breaking. These are the new versions of the Phantom 6000s. The inner booty has this like aerogel insole, which is like a very insulating light material, which I was kind of skeptical about at first, but actually they're really thick and very warm. And I really like them actually. And so I don't wear these with an insole or anything. I find that because this aerogel material is a little bit squishy, that they're incredibly comfortable on the approach versus my Phantom Techs, which are the single boot version of these. I have a hard time with like the sole is really hard and they kind of hurt the ball of my feet, but maybe that's just some fit thing I haven't worked out. Yeah, what's your experience with some of the Scarpa options?
So the Phantom Techs came out, or the new version of the Phantom Techs came out before the G-Techs, and so I was in those before I moved to the G-Techs, and I liked them until the fit was just not quite right for my feet. I have really high arches, and I developed a bone spur on top of my left arch from those boots specifically. So I could not quite get the fit down, but the lightness was really nice, and the fit was more wide. So it was, fit in the bow were the reason I moved to the G-Techs.
Have you ever had any durability issues with any of the Scarpa boots?
I mean, I've worn out the the sole and the toe welt.
That's pretty good.
Just from a lot of use, like I'm sure Moki would say the same thing from hiking around Cody. It's not good for your, it's not good for your boots on lots of rock. And
I mean, that's the last thing that should break though. So that effectively no durability issues.
Yeah. So yeah, they lasted a reasonable while. Yeah.
Yeah. And with the Phantom Techs, just me personally, I like to wear my insole in them because it's just more comfortable. I have a hard time with like the really firm bottom of the single boots hurting the balls of my feet from hiking. And so having an insole in helps me with single boots at least.
Did you try those liners and these boots?
No, that's actually what I was going to try to see if this combo would work together as like the ultimate do-it-all single, double, light combo. I don't know if it works yet. We'll see. I kind of doubt it. These are much bulkier than these, but we'll see. Overall, I've been really happy.
You have your insole and this liner in this boot at the same time?
I haven't tried it with both. I was gonna do one or the other. I need to work out that fit kink. It's worth mentioning. It does say to use without insoles on the liner in big bold letters. Yeah. So
just for fit.
Yeah. But maybe I'll try it on and do a little addendum to the video and let you know how it works. So that in general, I've been really happy with my Scarpa boots. Pros, basically no durability issues. The zippers have never failed on me or anyone. The laces are kind of bomb-proof, a little bit finicky as far as tightening goes, but overall, like very solid boots. Mm-hmm. And Vitaly, you want to talk about Mammut?
Yeah, sure. And I also wear the Scarpa Phantom Techs for probably 90% of my ice climbing in the lower 48. I never had a problem with them. I use them heavily. I like the fit on my foot. and like I said before, the fit is very personal. So it might be, it might feel good for you, but different people's arches and ankles are different, and you should try them on in the store or somewhere before you commit to a boot, because they are so expensive. And I brought the Mammut Nordwand 6000s on this trip, and I will go through my whole experience using these boots for several years. My partner on Denali Diamond used these boots, and he was very impressed with how light they are and how comfortable they are. And that made me want to buy them about 4 years ago. So I took them on one expedition, and I was very impressed with their lightness and fit. However, on the second expedition that I took them on, the zipper came apart on both boots, and that was really not a cool place to be, because we were climbing a very technical route in cold weather with plenty of snow around, and I would basically have a bunch of snow get into my boots, and there was no good way of fixing them on an expedition when the zipper came apart. Another thing that I will say is that, in my experience and my partner's experience, who originally recommended these boots, is that it is really hard to get the booty into the boot. It takes some effort to do it in the tent. It takes a lot of effort for me, especially. Another thing is that after I came back from that expedition in 2023, I contacted Mammut, and I told them about my experience with both of the zippers breaking, and they were able to replace my boot with this one. No, sorry. They were able to replace my boot probably after about 8 to 12 months, because they did not have them in stock. But I, because I like the fit of this boot, I bought another pair for about $1,000, and took them on a different expedition, which they performed really well. They were comfortable, and now I took them on the second expedition, and I'm having the same problem with the zipper, where on the right side, on the right boot, the zipper already is coming apart. So I will go home and you know see if they will be able to warranty this pair, and I still have the warranted brand new pair sitting at home. Another thing that sucks about these boots is that the inner lining starts coming apart probably after the first couple uses. They put in a special reflective material on the inside to help with the warmth of the boot, and I will take some zoomed in shots and show you what that looks like now, and it's not how it looks like when you first purchase the boot. Aside from that, they have a BOA system in them, and there are two different BOAs involved. One is in charge of tightening the lower part of the boot, the ankle, and the other part is in charge of the top. And on my left boot, the bottom BOA actually has not been working very well on the climb. Last time we were up there, it seems to be working okay right now. But yeah, it kind of feels like these boots are not performing up to the standard that I would want them to be if you're investing into $1,000 boot. I like the lightness, I like the comfort, but the performance and the um, just the fact that they're coming apart after one expedition is kind of sad. So I think that's something to improve on. Okay, yeah, this is the boa that is not very smooth.
Hmm.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
Sean has used them as well, and he has a lot more input,
Well,
I'm sure.
I I really liked how comfortable they were. Like they
Yep,
are the most comfortable 6,000 meter boot I've tried.
yep, I agree.
However, yeah, I can't speak to the durability because I haven't actually used them significantly on expeditions. I mean, I will say, for a double boot that you're generally using on on expeditions, they should last a long ass time.
Yeah, yeah. If I
This
can use the Scarpa Phantoms for 2 years straight, like all the time, and the zipper is totally fine, I don't see why the zipper on these is coming apart after, using it for probably like 12 days on one expedition and 5 days on another.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
I
sad.
would expect the summits to last like 4 expeditions minimum.
Yeah.
Like so, yeah.
Yeah, my experience with these is like I don't really see how they'll break,
Yeah.
which is nice if you're down to deal with laces. Um, yeah, I don't know that there's that much else to say. These are just boots we've had experience with personally. These guys have gone on more expeditions than me and have a little bit more depth of experience, so I would defer to them a little bit over me. But in general, it's good to know what you're getting into, some of the pros and cons with various boots. One random thing I'll mention is like if your boot's gonna get soaked from snow in the evening and then freeze overnight, that will make it harder to put on and can make some of these like mechanical systems more prone to breaking, like the BOA systems if you try to force it while it's frozen, or like a zipper if you try to force the zipper closed while it's frozen. So to increase the longevity of your boots, I would recommend trying to warm them up or maybe even have them in your sleeping bag if you have room overnight. If they're going to be frozen in the morning, just so you don't accidentally break them on the climb.
Mhm. And every time I go to sleep, I usually put my inner liners into my sleeping bag so that they dry off more. My feet sweat more than average, so I feel like for me it's really important.
So
And there's, you know, I think all manufacturers recommend zipper lubrication. I will be honest, I've never lubricated a zipper.
me either.
Same here, but
And you know, that may or may not cause you issues. So, yeah, I can't say that, yeah, that'll prevent anything, but it is, recommended and would be a good thing to do at least before you leave.
Yeah. And then just to sum it up, probably something like best technical fit, like climbs the best, like lightest. Scarpa probably the most durable in general. Mammut seem to be very comfortable, but maybe some durability issues. That's a broad generalization with our experience. Try them on in store, see what fits for your foot.
thank you for watching, and we'll probably make more reviews of some sort, and we'll see you in the next one.